teaser for Season 6 of Overwatch 2 dropped this week, as a hooded figure took over the streams of some big names in the community. But who is this ominous looking figure? Let's have a look. Hey guys and Dimsies from the Omnic Post. Yesterday some streamers, including some of the big names, jumped into the game for a sponsored stream. They all got a custom layover they were asked to use. Throughout the stream, their screen would occasionally start glitching, and we would see a lot of numbers and error messages rolling over the screen. For the big finale, a hooded figure appeared, and they seemed to be up to no good. By the end of this video, I want to try and figure out who that hooded figure is. But first, before I start following this red thread into the unknown, I want to highlight that something has changed. Almost a year into Overwatch 2, and Blizzard finally seems ready to shed that early access skin. They recently announced the Steam release of Overwatch, and besides these teasers, there also have been sightings of real-world advertising like billboards, or a new trailer that was shown before a movie in theaters. So it seems that we're going into a new era of Overwatch 2. Let's see what that brings us. Now, about that Twitch teaser. I was watching Seagull's stream when it all started happening. At first there was just a bunch of code, and there were the occasional numbers and error messages. Now, the code was too small to read, and all of the error messages definitely had a bit of a hacky feel to them, as if someone was trying to break into a system, but more about that later. The numbers that we saw on screen also have a meaning. There was this string of numbers that could be read as invasion is coming, and there was a short highlighted string of numbers that reads as Enigma. Now, if you read all of that, you might be inclined to comment, well duh, invasion is coming. On August 10th, we knew about that. And second, Enigma, isn't that the Riddler from Batman's real name? You would be right on both of those, but give me a second, because those lines might make more sense than you think. Let's go down the rabbit hole, shall we? It all kind of depends on who this hooded figure is. First option that almost everybody must have been thinking is Ramattra. He is the leader of Null Sector, and the big bad wolf in the story arc that is set to start in Season 6. We also know that he is a big fan of hoods. He has worn them before. Let's presume it is Ramattra. What the hell is he doing? Well, we actually learned from the Invasion trailer that Ramattra is being a bit of a cheeky tool, and that he is forcefully adding innocent Omnics to his troops. He is hacking them and forcing them to join his army. He is taking away their free will that they got thanks to the sacrifice that Aurora made. Interestingly enough, he's not doing this through some type of network, but he is going old school. He is using hardware. In that trailer I was talking about earlier, we can spot a dazed Omnic that has this contraption on top of their head. And that contraption is used to control them. In the third mission that will be released in Season 6, we're actually going to Gothenburg to meet Torbjorn and ask him to help to remove those things. So what if what we're seeing is Ramattra activating those devices, and we're seeing it from the standpoint of an Omnic? We're seeing an Omnic getting hacked. Those error messages would definitely make sense, right? Right? Well, look. I don't think Ramattra is the type of leader to be doing stuff like that himself. He's kind of like Darth Vader. He's not a micromanager. He comes up with the plan and makes sure it gets executed. But he's not going to sit down at a PC and start writing the prompts to hack these Omnics. And he's also not going to make the sandwiches for those people that have to work late. Just so you know. On top of that, the figure that we see is built a little too slender to be Ramattra. Have you seen that guy? He's a war bot. He's built like a tank. So personally, I don't think it's Ramattra. Maybe it's another Omnic. Maybe Ramattra has his own hacker. Could be, and the prime candidate for that would be Case. I don't know if you remember him, but he was the one that kind of set off the riots in Underworld in King's Row. We have not heard of him since, and I'm pretty convinced he would make a very good lieutenant for Ramattra. He's also a big fan of these more unique vestments, like things with a high collar, which is just one step away from a hood. It's time to go a little deeper in the rabbit hole. You guys remember Lanet? She was an Omnic and one of the founders of Null Sector. She was also seen wearing a hood in some of the art. Now, I don't want to focus too much on these hoods. On top of that, Lanet is actually dead according to the lore. She died in the uprising. But what if she didn't? What if she just made herself disappear and she's pulling a bit of an Anna? Because she didn't really get along with Ramattra. She might just be following everything from the shadows, taking advantage of the fact that everybody thinks she's dead, and pulling a bit of the strings left and right. What if what we see is not her hacking into these innocent Omnics, but her hacking into the Overwatch mainframe because she wants to send a message? It does say message incoming at the end of that animation, and at some point the Overwatch logo actually pops up. I mean, if this is Omnics hacking other Omnics, I don't see the need for an Overwatch logo. And remember those numbers from the start? Invasion is coming? That could be the warning. Also pay attention to where that person is sitting. That does not look like a huge Null Sector base. It actually looks more like a hideout or At best to serve her own. But why would she help Overwatch? Why hack into the system and not just send a Snapchat? Well, because it's more dramatic. But okay, you know, for as far as we know, she is dead. Another option could be Link 17, Zara's old friend, from the Searching comic. They are Omnic, they're a hacker, and they sure like their hoods. Like all Omnics. I don't know why all these Omnics are so obsessed with hoods. I think it's to kind of hide those little lamps in front of their head. It kind of makes them stand out, so yeah, understandable. Look, if this hooded figure really is an Omnic, I think Link 17 is a prime candidate. They are, like I said, a hacker, very nosy and always aware of all the organizations and what they're up to. But I also don't think they need to hack into the Overwatch mainframe to send a message. They are actually on our side, so they could actually send a Snapchat. But to be completely honest, I don't think it is an Omnic. I know, this whole train and then you're like, not an Omnic. Man. But now look at the fingers. It is kind of hard to tell with the transmission quality, but those look like human fingers. There's no like lines on those digits, which an Omnic would have. So are we dealing with a human hacker on the enemy side? Alright, that smells like Sombra from miles away. They even put in some of that purple that she loves so much, so. And she has been known to have her own agenda. It would make a lot of sense for her to intervene in an Omnic uprising. She is safeguarding her assets. The only thing I'm thinking is, wouldn't she do it with more flair? Alright. Are you guys ready for the next tier of rabbit hole? I mean, we're getting in tinfoil hat territory. Remember the Enigma message all the way from the start. For as far as I know, there has not been any reference in Overwatch or Overwatch lore to something called or someone named Enigma. Except for one instance. This voice line.
I do not understand why you enjoy inflicting pain.
I'm an Enigma. Deal with it.
This could just be Reaper being a smartass. Or this could be his third personality. Gabriel Reyes becomes Reaper, Reaper becomes Enigma. We know he likes hoods. There is the cracked voice and his pose at the end, that fingertips touching each other. That is so Reaper. He surely must know about Null Sector's plans because Ramattra made a deal with Doomfist, presumably. And while Gabriel definitely has his issues with the UN and with Overwatch, I don't think he would go as far as siding with the Omnics in basically a war that could destroy humankind. That might actually be a bridge too far even for that cranky bastard. He might be reaching out to his former colleagues and warning them. This could be the start of a Reaper redemption arc. Like I said, tinfoil territory. I'm probably missing the ball and it's just Ramattra. But to be frank, it could be any of these. Or it could be someone completely different. Like that new support hero that we're getting in Season 6. But I do feel that her perspective on all of this is going to be very different. I think she's going to be more on the sideline looking into what is happening. I think she has her own set of troubles. And we're probably going to find out in the next few weeks because there's more of these sponsored streams coming. So we might know really soon who that is. Or we might not. But what do you think? Is this Ramattra? Is it Reaper? Or is it someone completely different? Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesTV and make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.